Spears and Steinberg.
You know what the it is?
Aries and Andy, Jew and the Jerk.
You know it's time to get this work.
The real raw, gutter, uncut cocaine. No political corrections.
Always sleep.
Fuck being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes.
Scribe, we lit.
There's levels to this shit. Before you was sucking on your mama's tit.
Aries Spears don't give a
We talk about race a lot, racism. Much love to my loyal bag holders.
rollers, clip loaders.
We got them in the folders.
The whole world on our shoulders.
Spears and Steinberg.
Yeah.
Look, folks, you've heard this before. First of all, welcome to all the new podcast listeners. Welcome to the old podcast listeners. If you're new, then I'm going to tell you this once. Listen to this episode, but then take your ass back to episode 1 and go in order. It matters contextually. It matters comedically. Read the book the right way and don't cheat yourself. All right, back to the... Tell you what, though, to anybody out there, if you work at a Popeyes, yo, man, y'all can't sell chicken without hot sauce, B. I almost slapped at the little Vietnamese broad who worked at the Popeyes yesterday in the mall. I was coin flipping between Wendy's or Popeyes because as far as fast food go, those are my burger spot number 1 is Wendy's. My chicken spot is Popeyes, and both were damn near next to each other,
right across the way.
So I was in a conundrum. I was like, which one? And you know, heads Popeyes, tails Wendy's, and
you went against your flip. That's why it got.
I know, and Popeyes won, and I bought a 3-piece, and this tell me she ain't got no hot sauce,
and
I wouldn't have bought that if I know you ain't had no hot sauce,
dude. It turned into a Spike Lee movie right then and there.
What?
It was it was the funniest thing because they had all Asians working in the black restaurant Popeyes in the mall,
right?
And you could see it.
It was like a nigga Asian exchange.
You could see it not just in you, but in other people that were there. Because I'm not trying. This is not me making fun of someone who's not from here. But this chick obviously
it will be
wasn't
me as soon as you wrap
here.
this up.
She was not from here, and I still looked at Aries and I said, I didn't understand anything she said until all I understood is that she moved her hand and pointed me to the direction I was supposed to go. And then you said, you repeated a line that she said. I don't even remember what it was.
And you know, when he says Spike Lee movie, because if anybody that's obviously familiar with Spike Lee, he does that camera trick where the characters are standing still, but it's like they're on a trolley. They're standing still. So they're not walking, but they're moving forward. So that to me is so minus that. Because you can't see that. But another staple in a Spike Lee movie, whenever there's an exchange, it always feels jazzy to me. So it would almost be like, we don't have no hot sauce. What you mean you ain't got no hot sauce? We don't have no hot sauce. You got to have some hot sauce. We tell you we don't have no hot sauce. Next time you come here, you better get some hot sauce. Black people eat hot sauce. Okay, sir. Tighten up.
Your famous line was you walked away, though.
Yeah.
Do better.
Oh, say yeah. Said, you don't have no hot sauce. We don't have no hot sauce, sir. Do better. Okay. It was an intense moment.
But the other reason it was Spike Lee to me is because when they have the argument between the cross cultures,
right?
They have like a tight shot where you see like one group yelling at each other, right. And it's a quick shot over to the other group, and that's how it was. I was watching both of you
back and forth. I almost
wish
we could put that in the visual. Dude, I know we've been promising this, and trust me, animation takes time, but we're really gonna put out the podcast, well, not the Pussy Pod, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Shakedown. We're gonna animate some of the podcasts and put it out there, and when we do, hopefully with fingers crossed and knocking on wood, this thing turns out to be what we think it could be. Because obviously we can't do this for every episode, but we will pick moments that we thought kind of stood out and animate that and put it out there for you guys. Because that right there, that's an animation piece. Because that will sell it for the Spike Lee. And the way you just described it, it has to cut that way in animation. Her, me, close up, intensity, jazz music, the standing still, but with the zoom in.
Do better. And
yeah,
then you just
do better. Yeah. I clearly can see that.
Yeah, but it's exactly how it looked yesterday.
You know, I was in Vegas hosting the AVN Awards, and you know, we ended up only doing 30 minutes because I think I was probably selfish and wanted to get back on patrol.
And I was hungover.
It was bananas, but you left on Saturday, which was the actual award show ceremony, where all the whoas put on gowns and dudes put on tuxedos, and they take that serious, man. And it was my first experience, so of course I had the bubble guts. I was nervous as to what to expect because I had this preconceived notion as to what you were supposed to do and what it was supposed to be, and it was a little bit tricky, but it went off with a bang. Lil Wayne performed his 2 songs, and he ended his second set with, you know, having all the porn stars come on stage with him and chill with him, and it was crazy, man.
Dude, Lil Wayne, I mean, there was a party.
Lil Tucci.
There was a party that he had on Friday night, the night I left, and it was just the porn stars, right? That's all.
Yeah, he had a rule. No dudes allowed. It was just him and like a room full of 400 women. It said on the marquee, Lil Wayne, a night with Lil Wayne and models only. And I found that rather ironic. Much love to Lil Wayne and his peoples, but I feel like I shouldn't even say this because I'm trying not to f up and burn no bridges, but the ugliest had to have all the baddest in the room to himself. But now I'm, you know, that's the comedian in me. Lil Wayne, Lil Tucci, much respect. I always said if he wasn't a rapper, he'd be hanging on top of a skyscraper somewhere in New York City.
Protected from evil?
Protecting the city from evil. That's a gargoyle.
No, but it was cool. That show was cool, and we were lucky enough to be in the show. I was lucky enough because I got to go with you. You're like a deal.
Listen, I think we all rode the coattails of the moment.
But I had these porn stars come up and ask to take pictures with me, which was really funny.
Right.
Because I believe that they thought that I was Rick Rubin. Because there's no other reason any porn star in that room was going to want to take pictures with me,
right,
other than they had to think that I was somebody other than who I am. So
right.
I had a great time. And then this, it was too good of a time. And I just thought to myself that I needed to leave before.
I wish you would have took advantage of it. I had one of my best friends from Jersey.
He's a great guy.
My dude Ivan, who's been my childhood friend, and I think I'm an aggressive beast with the women. This a monster, like this will f the cleaning lady that cleans his hotel room, even if she looks like Esther from Sanford and Son. This dick knows no boundaries. I have limitations. You have to have a full set of teeth. And smell good.
A full set
with you.
A full set?
You got to have a full set, baby.
You just don't need interview teeth.
I don't even want an aggressive gap. But it was a crazy time. You know, it's really wild. Like these porn stars, they really take that seriously. Like there was a girl who won an award for best oral. And again, this is my first time doing this. I'm thinking this is going to be real tongue in cheek. But she got up there and started crying like she was Meryl Streep winning an Oscar. I want to thank you. I want to say, oh my God. And I'm just like, you are celebrating the fact that you are the best sucker amongst all suckers.
But she gets an award for it, and Amber Rose just gets what? Because she's
but Amber Rose doesn't do porn.
No, but everybody knows her as being the best.
That's all right. But look at her clientele. She's been with Wiz Khalifa, Kanye West, now 21 Savage. For what it's worth, she that gets grade A. I was up that they took it that serious. It made me call my daughter and let her know, hey, baby, Daddy loves you. I'm going to start tucking you in at night, reading your stories. We're going to go to the petting zoo, to the circus. I'm going to be there in your life. We're going to play house. We're going to play dress up. We're going to make believe, drink tea. I know you're 37, but it's never too late. It was a moral teaching.
Dude, I only have boys, so I'm never going to have that feeling, and I am very happy.
God bless you.
Yeah,
God bless you.
2 young men.
But it was, so big shout out to the AVN Awards. And you know what's great? I've had so many porn stars follow me now on Twitter. from that night that didn't know me and tried to, and to some degree play me like, because here's the thing you don't know is that's a very tight unit. So if you're not part of the porn world, they don't let you in. You know what I mean? You got to be part of that world for them to accept you, because they already know that people perceive them as being like the bottom of the barrel, slime. And they, they want to be respected and not belittled and go, look, what we do is still a job. It's still a profession, and respect us. So it was interesting to see that. And for the record, if you really want to be technical about it, I think porn stars are safer than regular chicks because they get tested every 3 weeks.
No, they have to be.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like that saying, statistically speaking, air travel is the safest way to travel. There's more people that die in car accidents than plane crashes. So it's like, call them what you want, dirty, whatever. And I know women will be more judgmental than men, but it's the safest way to go, technically speaking.
I'm not going to disagree with you unless we want to go with just that you're one girl.
But that's a moral standpoint.
But that's also the safest way to go.
With one girl?
If it's just you and the one girl.
It depends on the one girl. I have one woman in my life who I've been and is crazy. So she could end up slicing your throat or cutting your off. It's all perspective.
Okay, that's fair.
Who you think got more? Rick James or Prince?
I think probably Prince.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think Prince, all the top tier female in entertainment. Rick James, aunties that nobody knew about.
But I think, it seemed like what they were saying is that Rick had to have that trust because he was going to go into a really dark place with people.
Well, like the lady said, he wouldn't allow women to touch. He wouldn't allow you to him. Like when the dude told a story about the girl that was him, and Rick took the belt and started smacking on the ass. And he said the belt slipped and hit him. And he was like, he was hitting that hard.
Well, see, and that's the other weird thing, though. Like, he was cool with coming into a room and watching someone else have.
Right.
I
wish I could be that freaky, man. I'm very conservative when it comes to, like, I like it to death. I think is the greatest thing ever. But as far as kinky, being in the same room with, I don't want nobody watching me. I don't want, like my boy Ivan, who's a fanatic. He's always like, hey man, let's bang two at once. Nah, I don't want you seeing my balls, nigga. No, I don't want you to see how I swivel. Even if it's two, like he got a girl, I got a girl, nigga, let's you in the same room with two. No, I'm very private when it comes to nigga.
After I got my divorce, I think I gave a lot of that private part up.
Right.
But I don't want other people in the room with me. But I remember this is after my divorce, and I was at a party, and the party ended, and it was late. We went back to this dude's house, and he was in an apartment. It was not like a condo building. So we went to the jacuzzi, and he had this trick that he did, which I thought was pretty cool. He showed me. He goes, "Oh, dude, it's easy. What you do is you put some dish soap into the jacuzzi, right? And it's going to make a whole bunch of bubbles, and then it's easy to tell the girls just to get naked." Because you really can't see them. And then because now, they don't want all the guys to see them. But now you can't see them because there's bubbles. And so I was like, that sounds stupid, dude. So we went out there and put the bubbles in, and all the girls got naked.
Really?
Yeah. And then.
But then they got suds all on them, and you can't. Now you sucking soapy titties.
Wipe the soap off the titty. At least it's clean. Right now during COVID, that's a healthy, non-COVID titty.
I don't want palm olive in my mouth.
But what happened is that I had met this girl, and we were out there. And we started fucking, and right there, like I like it was, that was the beginning of any hedonistic kind of stuff where like she was ready to go. We were all out there, the pool. I was more worried about like scraping my knees on the pool decking than I was worried about the people that were there.
Yeah, no, dude. When it comes to, I'm like feet with socks. You don't put your feet out and yet without socks and be in the public. You cover your feet.
I
You got to cover your.
I'm not saying that that's my
Put a room on,
No.
nigga.
I'm not saying that's the place that I want to be, but I wasn't going to stop.
Right. Okay. Here's another quick question. Who do you think is like? Imagine partying with Rick James, Dennis Rodman, and Sam Kinison. Who falls out first?
I think Rodman falls out first.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think Rodman can hang? He's an athlete.
No, I think he can hang. I think Rodman, out of those three that you said,
Yeah.
I think has more sensibility than the other two.
Mm.
I think he goes, that's
I would love to hang out with you guys all night and smoke and drink and suck. But I got a game tomorrow. We play the Houston Rockets.
And I need this 45 minutes of sleep.
And I need this 45 minutes of sleep. 45 minutes. I need this 15 minutes of sleep. You can make me a Coke sandwich when I wake up. But I gotta go to practice tomorrow, and
I think Rodman has lived hard, but I think he also knows what his, I think he knows where his line is. And
right.
But Sam Kinison, he did go through rehab and he got clean, but Sam was notorious. That famous story that Sam got all fucked up in the light behind the Comedy Store, the one that when you go into the back where so that you could take those back stairs up to the belly room. Right. He shot that light out with the gun.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was all fucked up on coke.
Right.
So he would do whacked out. Obviously, we know James did some whacked out. So if I had to pick one of those three to go party with and feel safest, I'd go hang out with Rodman.
Okay. All right. I'm in a foul mood. I woke up in a foul mood.
Why?
Dude, I'm going through a lot of insecurities, man. I'm insecure. And yes, this is me on my soapbox again. Until it fixes, here the we go. So bear with me. I'm insecure about my career. I'm insecure about my position in life. But I was really insecure today about my size. And I'm not trying to be for effect. I'm being honest. Like I'm like I was looking online for natural herbal enhancements. Because I really believe that the woman who I really want to be with and who I love, my gut is telling me she's somebody else. And I'm like, Jesus, dude, is my big enough, girthy enough, and long enough? So I was looking online for supplements, natural supplements, because I'm thinking I'm not doing a good enough job. And I found this thing. It's called, bear with me. What's that from? The Dating Game.
That's exactly what it's from.
Yeah. Call back to a previous podcast where I mentioned that. Entengo. ENTNGO. Manhood Herbal Remedy. And it goes on to say, this Entengo and Molundo, and these two products are from Africa, combo makes men to stimulate and increase the blood flow into the chambers of the during. As time passes, this massive increase in blood flow will cause the chambers to expand and create larger, thicker, and more powerful that will last all your lovemaking time. And most exciting of all of that, the Entengo combo, blah, 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 blah. And it goes on to talk about you being bigger. But then what made me nervous was that, again, it used Africa as its sticking point. And it said something to the extent of African men have more than one spouse. Many of their women refuse to leave them despite low wages and poor conditions. And they have a load of kids, insinuating that this potency is so strong that it'll make a stick with you through poverty, through countless kids, and strife. And I was like, dude, Africa is your example. First of all, you when you're bored, because it's when you're poor and you seek pleasure, what's better than? And Africa's not a great example because along with all that comes AIDS And AIDS runs rampant in Africa. I once heard a comedian say, dude, when I go visit Africa, I leave my dick at home. And as I say in my own stand-up, and I know this is going to piss some Africans off if you're listening, which chances are if you're in Africa, you're not, because you don't even have a radio due to your poverty and strife. But anytime I make fun of African culture, especially when I was on Twitter, Africans would get mad at me because they hate the stereotypes that they're just all poor savages running around butt naked that lack human resources and they don't live in the 21st century. And I go on to say, I know there are beautiful African women out there, legit, purebred African women. But as I say, Ethiopian girls heads look like light bulbs. They got big heads with little necks. And I go, how come every time I go to Africa, every African looks like Don Cheadle? So, but that's comedic purposes. I know there's beautiful women in Africa, but it's a needle in a haystack because that culture is still, what's how you do it? Welcome to Africa. And
so you're not planning on an African tour anytime now?
No, but I've been to South Africa twice. And it's a beautiful place. Some of it. And then some of it is rape country. You don't want to be out there alone by yourself in certain places. They will rape you, man and woman. So I don't know if Africa is the best measuring stick for excellence. But even though I know there are American women who, listen, one of my best friends, Ivan, used to say this shit all the time. And I never would put it in a joke and say it on stage because he would come to my shows. And as much as he loves me and supports me, when you shine the light on someone, especially in front of a crowd, and you have to make them reflect upon themselves, they might not take it easy. And my boy is one of these dudes who I always used to say, his two talents was in fighting. So the Mike Tyson of the streets can knock anybody out and can fight his ass off. And he either should have been the next Mike Tyson or the next Lexington Steele, because this lives to and I don't think he was really good at anything else. He tried to be a chef, which was laughable. He even went to college and got a chef's degree or whatever the you need to be qualified as a chef. But I was like, who you kidding? Your gets hard when you fight, and your gets hard when it's time to fight. I even think your gets hard while you fighting.
That's how he wins the fight.
That's how he wins the fight. Like, it's just not for you, this cooking. It's cute that you tried to do something different, but that's not you. So, but he was one of them dudes where, listen, I was envious of his game. Has no job. He's 1 year older than me. He's 44. He's lived with his mother since birth. I mean, there were times where he would live with his baby's mama, but even when he was living with her, no job. He never could keep a job. Always got fired, most times because he beat up the boss. Never aspired to do anything, really. Got no money, no bank accounts, doesn't even have a car. And I don't want to use the word lazy, but he's one of them that it's like he makes excuses for why he can't excel. But he's my best friend, and I love him and would do anything for him because I know that when push come to shove, all I have to do is make the phone call, and he will murder him for me. And that kind of loyalty you can't buy. So, and his stayed with him for so long. And I'm just going, what woman finds a man not being a provider? What woman finds a man not being a man in that sense? What woman in her right mind would be with a man with no job, no aspirations, no goals, no money, no nothing?
But he was a pole vaulter.
But he would knock the out of lining. And I just was like, God damn. And I would envy him because I was like, I wish I had that kind of power. I wish I could a broad so silly that she would look past goals to want to with me.
So you think a girl will take a good game at McDonald's versus a game?
A girl who's not equipped enough to know better. Or listen, even if you know better, I really firmly believe there are some out there who are just magical when it comes to the game. And it's like a drug. It's like a hypnotism. They can you up. And I think that's where I'm at. Because with the woman I'm talking about, to anybody that's ever seen the movie Boomerang with Eddie Murphy, you saw it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, Marcus Graham, Eddie Murphy. He was that dude. Suave, smooth, knew how to get it. He had all the tricks to the trade. When he did that scene with Robin Givens and talking about the secret to my salmon, and she wasn't impressed. Any other he could impress, from the cooking to the game to the. He was that guy, and I feel like I'm Marcus Graham. 9 times out of 10, between my game, my humor, my foreplay, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, episode 27 of the podcast, scroll back and listen to that. I proudly brag. I'm a monster when it comes to hoes. I know how to diddle a mentally and emotionally and physically. But this one broad who I'm talking about, she's like my Robin Givens. I feel like I can't impress this, and I'm intimidated by her. And I hate to use the word intimidated because it makes me sound weak and scared. But it's like, I feel like this is the one who's I can't knock out a lining. And I'm going, is my big enough? Am I girthy enough? Am I good enough? What the am I doing wrong? And listen, since I've gained weight, they say for every, 20 pounds you lose, you gain a certain number of inches. This used to tell me back in my days when I was in my prime, when I was the ooh, you all in my stomach. I don't even think I'm in that. I'm trying to search for I don't even think I'm even close anymore. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just going through some really insecure and I can't figure it out. And Black people, we're not big culturally on therapy. Like I feel like I want to see a therapist. I'm gonna start seeing a therapist. But Black people, and we need to get past this because we have so many hangups as a culture. I think that Black people's therapist has always been Big Mama, Grandmama, Mama. And when all else fails, eat some fried chicken, macaroni, cheese, and collard greens. That's therapy. We need to take mental health seriously.
That's the Sopranos
and talk
style.
to a therapist.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want to talk to a therapist. I feel like this is my therapy, and the audience listening is my therapist, but I don't get any feedback, so I don't know what's right and what's wrong.
So do you want feedback?
Something?
Maybe this is your opportunity since your is shrinking. Maybe you're going to get funnier.
That's a hell of a trade-off. It's a hell of a trade-off.
Right now, if you could lose 2 inches from you, but you would be the funniest on the face of the earth. On the face of the earth, hands down. Chappelle would take a distant second to you.
Oof.
Right now.
Oof.
You give up 2 inches? And some girth.
That's got to come with some success, though, guaranteed.
Guarantees.
And bazillions of dollars.
And hands down, everybody knows you're the funniest in the land.
I'll take the size of a toe.
Toe could be pretty big, though, because their extremities.
I know, but they only look like drumettes.
But for that kind of
waist down.
But for fame and
everything I dreamed.
But when you look in the mirror, you get everything you dream. But when you look in the mirror, it's just barely hanging right there. It doesn't even go over the balls.
That's evil. That's so evil, nigga.
He's just sitting on top of the balls.
I ain't gonna say his name because it's my dude, and I don't want to alienate him. Again, not that he ever listens to the podcast, but if we ever do blow up and get to that supreme level, might check the backlogs and we get in trouble. But there's a top-notch NBA player in the league, one of the greatest players of all time, Hall of Famer. I don't even want to say his position, because if I say his position, you'll process of elimination. This was blessed with everything. Super fame. One of the and I'm not just naming something that you'd go, oh, if I said his name, you would be like, who the doesn't know who he is? This nigga's one of the best Hall of Famer, all-star, multiple championships. If we're feeding into the stereotype that all black men have big, and you would think as an athlete, and listen, the woman who I'm talking about, my baby mom's, right? She's been with some pro ball players. And I'm not kidding myself. These are tall, slim, trim, six-pack, in shape. They have endurance. I know this had a schlong before. But again, big don't, that ain't the end all be all. You still have to have the other ingredients. That's great for but you got to have the other ingredients to make it last. So I'm just saying, you would think that with all this beauty in terms of fame, wealth, success, it's almost would be like, damn, that's up. This nigga's blessed with a big too. But apparently, from what I've heard, from what I've read, from two of the women I know that them, this nigga's is the size of a baby's pinky.
No, it can't be a baby's pinky. Let's be reasonable.
I'm exaggerating.
I know you are, but let's be,
But it's small, nigga.
Maybe a thumb.
Maybe it's small. And it almost makes you feel like, oh my God, there's a God. This nigga can't have everything. So to your question, to be him and have it all, but be lacking there, whew. Your ego as a man makes you go, I don't want no little, but I don't want to be in the poorhouse either. And to have the kind of money and fame where, you could pay a to fake it. This was married and had several kids with a broad. So did she really love him? I believe she did, but she may have faked it too.
So you're her, right? And you got this little going and you're giving it to her and you're giving it to her. And
you can't say little and giving it.
You're giving it the best you can.
Best you can, but you can't say giving it, because giving it implies you putting the hammer down.
You're giving what you can, and just before you come, you just take a stack and you just throw it on her at the same time that you come.
In case that forgets.
And she goes, ah!
You married it. I love it. You married it. But if your is monstrous, you could do that same and throw a stack of pennies on that. She'll still scream, ah. Women, y'all's has got to stop.
Well, women didn't make this movie, though, so don't blame it on them.
No.
But no one said anything about it.
But nobody said anything about it. The same way I noticed, and Coming to America 1, and I mean, obviously, you guys are hearing this when you're hearing it, but when I was watching Coming to America 1, 2 days before, they show the scene where Eddie and Sherry Headley go out on a date. And this is the official date where they run into Randolph and Mortimer, the bums.
Right.
Eddie gives them the money on the street. He and Sherry Headley are having dinner in the restaurant. They bang on the window. Thank you, thank you. And she's like, oh my God, people are so impressed by you. They just love you. Cut to, they dance, and they got that song playing by Jackie Wilson. Someone to care, someone who's there. Well, an hour, loans of despair, to be loved, to be loved. And they eventually French kiss and all that. And I'm like, this is still with Daryl. She is tongue kissing this and dancing with Akeem, and she's still with Daryl. Where is the outrage for this cheating? And no, and all the women will go, yeah, girl, you go marry you a prince. Get that money, girl. Be happy, girl. This is cheating
On Soul Glow.
on Soul Glow. Where is the outrage for her cheating?
But they made that character he's not likable. So they
But
want
likable doesn't warrant cheating.
but they want her to cheat because he's not good enough for her.
Oh, the rules y'all come up with. See, and this is why, and I know when I say this, I always come off like a hypocrite and some male. But this now validates what I say. Like the same way y'all come up with y'all's to validate you getting the win. This is why I go, I know it's unfair. I know it's up. This is the game, baby. Men should be able to have side because that's outrageous. Oh, he's an asshole. He might have been, but he didn't cheat. Asshole does not mean you cheat on a motherfucker. Or break the up with him.
It wasn't good enough for her. So that was her way of moving out of the relationship. But I still think, though, and this is where I do call out women a little bit, is that if a storyline in a movie was about a man basically molesting someone who wasn't aware,
yes,
you would bring that up that it was a bad storyline.
That movie couldn't even get made.
But you guys don't attack, and I'm not saying this movie should be attacked, but you don't even comment on that with any kind of any amount of the same vigor that you would if it was the other way.
Woman on male rape is funny. Opposite is, hell no. As it should be. But for some reason, because we're men, we're allowed to be violated. We're allowed to be drugged. We're allowed to be taken advantage of. And I don't know if the validation for it is, well, y'all been doing it since forever. So the tables have turned. Because that ain't right. Two wrongs don't make a right. But to his point, come on, man. Again, that's that cake and ice cream and eat it too. You want equality, but come on, man. When it's truly time to get equal, we're not playing right.
I mean, just a little side note could have been said. The movie was whatever you thought of it. I don't appreciate the storyline. I think it still puts, misconduct or rape.
And listen,
yeah, however you want to look at it.
If Rihanna, Beyonce, Megan Fox, or Halle Berry rape you, what real man is going to the police? When Leslie Jones rapes you, that's rape.
I am not co-signing that at all. I don't have a career. You have one. I can't survive that comment right there. Leslie is very funny. Actually, she looked good in the movie. Okay, I'm trying.
Hey,
to fix what you had to say.
Hey, brother. And that scene where, that was so predictable. We knew that was.
Yeah.
That scene with the royal, from the royal is clean, Your Highness. And the woman comes up from the tub in the suds with the indication she just washed Eddie's. When Leslie was laying in the tub, I knew the moment you saw it, you didn't need for the dude to come up. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. And Alabama pointed this out too. And the first one, I guess thus the rated R rating,
yeah,
the women were topless, as some are in Africa from a tribal perspective. I didn't even notice it till he pointed it out. They all had their breasts covered. Cancer culture is out of hand.
But it's a PG movie.
So you think that's why that was?
Yeah, it's a PG movie because it would have to be rated. It would have to be disclosed as nudity. It would be at least a PG-13. And plus, in the 80s, there was always one gratuitous nude scene in every movie.
But this was 90s.
Well, that's it. It was 90s.
This was 90s.
Okay, but it was early enough that it fell under that same thing. Because the best nude scene in any movie, to me, the best topless scene, the best unnecessary boob scene that I can think of in a movie to me is still in Trading Places.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This scene.
Well, Jamie Lee Curtis and I've Been Waiting for You, Billy Ray, with the black girl.
Yeah. But completely unnecessary scenes. The nudity part was unnecessary in both of them. That was the thing about the 80s. There was always at least one scene.
Yeah, we are letting cancer culture take us away from the fun. This movie should have been everything that the first one was and better. We're supposed to progress, not digress.
So instead of taking away women's boobs in the movies, if a woman wanted to be equal, we should have just had the out in the movie.
If we're being technical, yes. If we're being technical. But seeing schlong ain't never as pretty as seeing breasts.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying.
And then this is a black, so, we're going to play that game where, we want to be truthful, but we also don't want to threaten middle white America. So we're going to have this, come out the water with a Vienna sausage? Like, come on, man. And this is Africa. These are the purest of the black bucks. This nigga's gotta be as big as a rowboat.
They gotta ice him down so that it shrinks. He has to wear a nice coat.
Come on, man. They played that so safe.
COVID. Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, cancer culture is killing the spirit of great movies. And listen, ladies, this, as I talked about before, this is one of those moments where the movie is for guys. And I'm not afraid to admit this, and I say this proudly. One of the things I love about Rocky V, the moment I love about Rocky V, and I often will maybe listen to this scene and watch this scene as a source of inspiration because the words are that good. And I know this pretty much verbatim, but the scene when Rocky goes to Mickey's gym for the first time, he's just moved back into the neighborhood, and he actually comes out of the bar that they used to all hang out at, which is across the street. And he's got the cigarette dangling out of his mouth. And he looks up and sees, the sign for the gym, Mickey's gym. And he just looks and goes, "How you doing, Mick?" And then he eventually goes into the gym. It's up. It looks like a project tenement. It's abandoned. It's dirty. And he picks the old boxing glove up off the floor, puts it on, and he hits it with his hand, punches his own palm. And the dust flies. And then he's standing in a corner and he's looking at where the ring used to be. And then there's the flashback moment, and he's recalling it. And what's great about this is, as an audience, we're watching the flashback through his eyes, but every now and then, as the dialogue plays between Rocky and Mick in the flashback, so Rocky in real life will chime in certain parts to show how it meant to him. And he's watching himself, train, and Mick is there, and he's like, whoo, whoo, whoo. He's throwing the punches, and Mickey eventually goes, time, kid. Boy, Rock, my God, you're ready, ain't you? You're going to roll over him, kid, like a bulldozer, an Italian bulldozer. Now, I know how you feel about this fight that's coming up, because I was young once too, And I tell you, if you wasn't here, I don't think I'd be around, because you give me motivation to stay alive. Because I think that people die sometimes when they don't want to live no more. But with you, kid, boy, I got a reason to stick around. And I will watch you make good. And I'll never leave you. And I'll never leave you. Because when that happens, you'll be able to take care of yourself, not just inside the rings, but outside too. Is that okay? It's okay. Now, I got something I want to give you. No, Mick, I don't need. No, look at it. This is the favorite thing that I have on this earth. And Marky Marciano give me that. You know what his was? It's cufflink. Huh? And now I'm giving it to you. And it's got to be like a angel on your shoulder. And if you ever get hurt and you feel that you're going down, this little angel's going to whisper in your ear. He's going to say, "Get up, you son of a bitch." Because Mickey loves you. And then they cut to Stallone, and the tear comes down his face, and he goes, "You was the angel. What happened to the other one? I don't know. You only give me one. I guess he give it to some bum." Dude, like, come on, man. And now, here's what, like, obviously, I'm doing it a cappella, but when the music comes in, and it's just perfect. Doo-doo-doo-doo. The way the music plays within the dialogue, the whole thing about motivation to live, when you're down, this is to help you get up. You got to fight the fight. You know, I care about you not just in the ring, but out of the ring, which is the fathership role. How could you not? It's a tearjerker. And now, listen.
That was a good part of the movie.
I have to do it because I did it a cappella, but I wanted to do it that way first because I wanted that to be the setup. And now I would like to play for you folks in its entirety that same scene, but with the music and done at the right level. And listen, I might have been off by a word or two, but I pretty much verbatim had that shit on point. So here we go. Ladies, this is the shut up, don't say nothing. Just move the box of Kleenex over to him and let him have this moment. Okay. So the music, it makes a difference. He just hit the bag. He's picking up the boxing glove off the ground. It's got the dust on it. Slip a jab, slip a jab.
Slip the jab. Slip the jab.
Slip the jab. Slip the jab. That's right. That's it. Hey, I didn't hear no bell.
Okay.
All right, that's right. Slip the jab. That's it. Mentalize. See that bum in front of you. You see yourself doing right, and you do right. That's pretty. That's very pretty. Time. Ah, come here, Rock. My God, you're ready, ain't you? That Apollo won't know what hit him. You're gonna roll over him like a bulldozer, an Italian bulldozer. You know, kid, I know how you feel about this fight that's coming up. But with you, kid, boy, I got a reason to go on. And I'm gonna stay alive. And I will watch you make good.
And I'll never leave you.
And I'll never leave you until that happens. 'Cause when I leave you, you'll not only know how to fight, you'll be able to take care of yourself outside the ring, too. Is that okay?
It's okay.
Okay. Now, I got a little gift for you.
Oh, man.
Now, wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
Really, I don't need nothing.
Look at this. See that? This is the favorite thing that I have on this earth. And Rocky Marciano give me that. You know what it was? His cufflink. Huh? And now I'm giving it to you. And it's gotta be like an angel on your shoulder, see? And if you ever get hurt and you feel that you're going down, this little angel is gonna whisper in your ear. He's gonna say, "Get up, you son of a..." But Mickey loves you. Okay?
Thanks, Mick.
All right.
I love you too.
Go after him, kid. Go after him.
You was the angel.
You was the angel.
I was trying to find out that there's Bill Conti that did the music again for this one.
You was the angel. Come on, man. And in that moment when they had a fight in the street and Rocky's laying there and you think he's out and Mick comes in his head and goes, "Get up, you son of a... I didn't hear no bell. Hey, yo, one more round. Come on."
I had Rocky
Give me a
Balboa
list. Give me a
at
list.
3.
What is it?
I always put 1 at 1.
Do you really?
Yeah, man. Dude,
If
that
I can only watch that if I'm really like, I want a Rocky story.
introducing you to Cuff and Link and the whole character of who he is, and Adrian, I got a joke for you, and the
Right.
whole like setup to who that character is, drinking them eggs, beating the meat, the whole. I mean, the Rocky 1 was almost a montage if you just take out the little bit. There's to me 1.
Okay, so Rocky 1 is 1.
3 is 2.
Okay.
Balboa is 3.
Okay.
Let me work backwards then. So 6 would be number 5 because I can't stand that one.
Okay, so last is 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you could go either way with 4 or 5. I didn't mind the fight, the Russian movie. I didn't mind.
So,
that.
okay, so that's 5.
Yeah.
Rocky 4 is 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so 4 is 4.
4 is 4. Well, no, you said 5 is the worst one. That's 6.
Yeah, that's 6.
Rocky 5 is...
Rocky 5 is 4. And then
4, the
yeah,
Russian.
Yeah.
Okay. So 6, 5. What's 6, 5? What's 4?
Rocky 4.
Rocky
4.
you
No,
just said
Rocky
the
4.
Russian.
Rocky 4 is the 5th one then to me. Is that how I put it? Yeah. One is
Why are
one.
you working backwards?
Because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to put.
It's easy to work forward.
Okay,
Rocky
one is 1. 3 is 2. Balboa was 6 is 3. 4 would be 5. No, 4 is 5. Yeah, 5 is
4. Rocky 4 is number. We're on 4. What's number 4? I'm gonna help you.
Oh, 2. 2 is.
I'm about to say,
yeah,
why the fuck
yeah.
are you hesitating?
Sorry, 2 is 4.
2 is 4.
Yeah, and then 5 is
The Russian.
and then 6 is the
5,
yeah.
the 5th one.
Yeah.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit spearsburgpod.com.